Welcome to Business Class. I'm Steve Ekstrom from Learn Tourism, a nonprofit academy dedicated to advancing the tourism industry through innovative training and sustainable practices. Our mission? To empower travel professionals and communities with the knowledge they need to create meaningful, authentic, and sustainable tourism experiences. Ready to join us on this journey? Visit learntourism.org and start making a difference today.
I'm Adam Stoker, President and CEO of Brand Revolt, founder of Tourism IQ, and working on a whole lot of other stuff.
I'm Steve Ekstrom, CEO and co-founder of Learn Tourism, dedicated to making education better in the industry.
See ya.
Good to be seen.
How's your last couple of months been?
Every day is an adventure. I'm actually at a friend's farm in central Michigan. Somebody I met through working in tourism about 25 years ago. She owned a travel company and her daughter now manages the company. I'm here on the farm. My niece is with me and she spent 5 hours yesterday playing with the kids that live on the farm, exploring the creek, the pond, the bugs, the frogs, all those things that kids should be doing. Then it was a really cool experience. So what are you up to these days?
Well, I've been traveling and speaking a ton over the last couple months. The first 2 weeks of this month, I was in Florida for two different conferences, one for the PRSA Travel and Tourism Summit. And then I had Sports CTA. That was a really fun experience. And yeah, I'm just now getting back into the swing of things.
If you were to define that you're looking to cultivate amongst those people in one word, what would it be?
There's so many words that come to mind. Intentional. I started in proactive was the first word, but being proactive but not strategic isn't helpful at all. So intentional is where I landed.
It's a good word. I like it. For us, I think it'd be the word learning. Start every team meeting every week with, what did you learn last week? And how is that shaping what you do this week?
I like those questions.
It reinforces that concept of evolution, of being better today than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
And aiming to be better tomorrow. And I think one of the things that surprisingly has come from those questions is an expression of gratitude amongst the team.
Cool.
Robert Heinlein wrote years ago, when one teaches, two learn.
I like that.
Yeah. And as it relates to the general tourism and travel experience, I think of a story. I met a man who was a crawfish farmer in Louisiana. I met him out on the pond.
I have friends who are crawfish farmers.
Yeah. So I met him one day out on the ponds. We went and collected enough crawfish to have our own boil that night. I was talking to him. I said, Mr. Barry, where do you want to travel? And he says, I don't think I need to, because I learn from every single visitor who comes here about their home, their family, their culture, their community, their country. I learn from every single one of those.
I like that.
And that was cool. We think about other travel experiences as much as we want to educate the visitor so they have a better experience, a more authentic experience, a more sincere interaction. It's about listening too.
Very interesting.
Thanks. Welcome to my TED Talk.
I like it. As leaders, we're all going through the same thing. So bouncing ideas and learnings off of each other, especially when we're both entrepreneurs trying to figure it out, I think it's super helpful.
What would you be doing if you weren't in this particular niche?
What I would really do is something we're actually starting to do because AI is allowing us to get so far with coding specifically. Me and my business partner would build products and roll it all up into one brand.
That's a nice optimistic view. One has to be an optimist to do well in business.
Cannot succeed in business without believing you're going to make it.
And that's the first step, isn't it? That leap of faith.
I call it the combination of ambition and ignorance. Those two things together is a sweet spot.
Yeah, I'd say I'd take that with a sense of adventure. I use this in my personal life as a nomad. I embrace every challenge or opportunity as part of the adventure. Not good, not bad. It's just part of the adventure. Whether that's a blown out tire 75 miles from the nearest town, which has happened, or being out in the middle of a lagoon off Baja, California, and whales coming up and touching the boat. Whatever it is, all part of the adventure. And I think if you get hung up on any one peak or any one valley, that's where you struggle, because it's hard to maintain those peaks and it's hard to dig yourself out of the valleys.
I think the other thing that I think is a barrier to being an entrepreneur for most people, I think it's this mentality of I'll be happy when. And so if you can't be happy during the process of building, you'll never make it, right? I'll be happy when doesn't work for entrepreneurs.
I don't think it works for people in general. You think about general compensation, right? I remember when I was in my 20s, I just wanted to make 6 figures. You're setting a moving goal.
Especially with inflation. I figured you're already doing what you would be doing otherwise. You just happen to be working while you're being a nomad and traveling around, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I would somehow be a learner in one way, shape, or form. And we were sitting around the Thanksgiving table a couple of years ago, and my one uncle, who's a college professor, turned to my other uncle, who is an academic administrator at a private school, and, oh, how are your courses going this spring? And how are your courses this fall? And my sister, who's an instructional designer, chimes in. My other sister's working at an elementary school. And I'm like, holy crap, I came from a family of educators. And I didn't even realize it until that moment. Me taking the tourism route to end up in education in the tourism space. Interesting. One of the things that you pointed out is finding young people who want to be ambitious and intentional. We've identified what the tourism career path is, because out of 200-300 CEOs that I've interviewed, only 2 knew what a destination organization was when they started their career. So that sort of career path is serpentine. Job titles, types of companies, industries, it's all over the place. But skill-based growth has proven itself true in every one of these use cases that we've looked at. What are the skills that you build in your first job working at a restaurant or a hotel or a golf course or an attraction, even a local shop? And what are the next level of skills that you build from that? So it's actually skill-based growth as opposed to job title type growth.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
What's your favorite thing to do outside of work?
Golf.
Get shirt.
Yeah. I've got 4 kids, but we've gotten to the point where they all want to go with me. So I rotate. Every week I take a different kid golfing. The quality time you get in 4 hours of hanging out in a golf cart with a kid doesn't get much better than that. My 5-year-old son is in a golf camp right now and learning to golf. Every day he's only this many more days until golf camp again. It's become even more important now that I get my kids involved in it and have a good time.
Did you do any camps when you were a kid?
When I was 16, my dad got me lessons at this little public course in Statesboro, Georgia. He bought 5 lessons and the last one was putting. And we moved before I was able to do the last lesson. I just picked up the bug and really enjoyed it. It's something that stuck with me. And part of the reason I love it is because I do it with my dad still. It's one of the few hobbies that you can do with the older generation and enjoy it for a long time. I have a twin brother, and we went about a month ago with my dad, me, my brother, and my brother's 17-year-old son. We all went and had a great time. You got 3 generations doing the same thing, competing with each other, having fun, talking trash to each other. I don't think there's very many activities where you can actually do that and everyone has a good time.
Devices down.
Nobody's on their phones when you're out golfing. And if they are, what a waste.
Yeah, you're in some of the most beautiful landscapes that exist, and you have to be present. What's your favorite question to ask guests on your podcast?
So there's 2 questions that I really love to ask. Number one is I always ask people at the beginning of the show so we can get to know them a little bit better, what's your favorite travel memory? And you get to kind of watch people light up. And I'd say about 80% of the time, it goes back to when they were a kid having an experience, whether it's with their family, or sometimes it's the first time they went on an adventure without their family. That's the travel memory that sticks out. and you just see the visual chain that travel creates in somebody. So that question is always fun. The question that has resulted in the most insight has been, is there anything I haven't asked you that I should have?
I love that question.
Fascinating to watch the answers. You find out what really makes people tick and what they're passionate about, because they're like, you should have asked me this, and here's what I would have said. Sometimes that's the most valuable part of the entire episode.
It surprises people when you ask them that question.
Yeah.
And the other one I like to ask, is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Oh, yeah. What's funny is I don't do enough of that.
Yeah.
I probably adhere a little too much to the host-guest dynamic.
I like the conversational style. I like people being able to learn about each other. And luckily, I have a new adventure every week to share. So there's someplace new, there's someplace different. It's not the same old story. What would you like to ask me?
I want to know the story behind your podcast. When did you start it, and what
Sure.
led to you starting it, and what's it been like?
Learn Tourism started a little over 5 years ago, 501c3 nonprofit. One of the things that I realized early on that we needed were advocates and advisors. So in setting up an advisory panel, I wanted to interview lots of people I respected for their work, for their accomplishments, for the respect that they've gained and earned in the industry, in different industries. How do you get that person on the phone? How do you get somebody to share 20 minutes, 30 minutes of their time to tell you about themselves? Part of that is sharing what I'm passionate too. So that's how it really started. And we're 300 interviews in, 200, 300 interviews in.
Yes.
And it's still interesting. PhDs from all over the world. I'm a college dropout. I'm surrounded by nerds. I'm learning from people with letters after their name that I will never be able to match up to. Yeah, that's pretty cool. What about you?
Oh, for me, it's so funny because I never thought starting a podcast would have such an impact on my career, but it's changed everything from where I want to spend the rest of my career to how much I've learned. The fun thing about a podcast, which you know, is when someone teaches, two people learn. I have learned so much just by asking questions. When I tried to scale outside of Utah in tourism, I recognized there's a lot more competition than I thought, because in Utah, there really wasn't that much competition when we got started in the destination marketing space. And so we started this podcast really as a credibility piece. So people, when we were responding to RFPs, could go check, hey, do these guys know anything about the industry? Do they know what they're talking about? The other thing that was really funny about it, and this happened accidentally, but I found it along the way, and that's that when I used to reach out to people on LinkedIn and say, hey, can I talk to you about your marketing? Or get like a 1% to 2% response rate. Nobody wants to answer that and say, yeah, sure, I'll give you the opportunity to pitch me. But if I say, hey, do you want to come say how brilliant you are and tell your story on a podcast for 30 minutes? I get like a 60 to 70% response rate on that outreach. And so what I found accidentally is I can build relationships with people, and these are non-invasive relationships. I also provide them value in the form of allowing them to tell their story and share their expertise and build a little bit of a voice and credibility with their peers. Then at the end, I'm not asking for a sale. I'm saying, hey, we should stay in touch. And a lot of those conversations that started as a podcast guest are now clients of mine that I've worked with for years. The relationship can be built by having an in-depth conversation with somebody. It's changed the way I look at marketing as a whole. I believe that people need to be focused on building relationships with their audience, regardless of what type of business you are. This advertising method of, hey, I have your attention, so by now I've completely abandoned anything related.
I heard years ago somebody say it's more important to be interested than interesting. And I think people value more when other people are interested in them, in their product, in their experience, than they are interested in selling something or interested in pushing a product. And I think your approach and mine are very similar. My approach is, hey, can you share 20 minutes so I can learn from you?
Yeah.
And there's this sort of balance between ego and altruism. And to strike that balance is a skill I work on every day.
Because you have to have a little bit of an ego to be willing to speak into the microphone and opine on the industry or whatever it is. You can't avoid that. But at the same time, you have to demonstrate that you are looking for the good of either the organization or the industry or whatever stakeholders you have. You have to earn that. You have to earn by not violating the unspoken agreement with your audience. You have to earn the ability to have their trust and connect with them. Balancing ego and altruism, that's a really good dynamic that I haven't had anybody articulate to me before, but it's absolutely correct.
I've never articulated it before either. It's a borderline disorder, controlling what comes out of my mouth. We're doing a learning program, an educational program at DI's Visitor Services Summit on using fun and Chicago-style improv.
Oh, nice.
To improve the visitor experience and to improve education. I think that has to be a part of it. You have to be able to laugh. You have to be able to enjoy it. Nobody wants to do something that's going to be painful.
100%.
If folks want to get in touch with you.
Yeah, I would say join Tourism IQ. That's the place where we all connect with each other and build a digital community together. And then Adam at thebrandrevolt.com.
I'm Stephen with a PH at learntourism.org, or find me on Tourism IQ, LinkedIn.
Love it.
Enjoy your next meeting, kind sir. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in to Business Class. This episode was brought to you by Learn Tourism, the nonprofit academy where we advance the tourism industry with cutting-edge training and sustainable practices. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to visit learntourism.org to learn more about our programs and how you can get involved. Until next time, stay curious, continue learning and making a difference through tourism.